Breaking. David Lammy has announced he will stand in the leadership contest and is now favoured to become Britain's first black Prime Minister. I love it. I love it. Pick the thickest man in British politics and then put him forward to be the first black Prime Minister. It's unbelievable. If I was a black man and I was looking at him on television talking absolute gibberish every time, his famous Mastermind failure. A bloke with porridge for a brain went on Mastermind. That shows how far up his own arse David Lammy is. But I'm astounded that anybody thinks this is good news. David Lammy would do more harm to the black community than 200 shootings on a weekend in Chicago. Essentially, he's almost like Bill Cosby, George Floyd, and the Washington Sniper rolled into one, in that if you're black and you see him on TV, you shake your head and just hope everybody's going to forget about him. So we're going to talk about that. I'll also briefly discuss the latest stabby migrant. And I say briefly because, I mean, there's one every day that we don't hear about. There's one every single day in the UK. So it doesn't require much talking. I mean, I can probably leave it with this. If you're the young man who turns up in a European country and promptly murders someone, right, turning around and saying, oh, I'm a traumatised refugee, doesn't cut the mustard, does it, fatty? In fact, if you're the one butchering people in the street, you're the one that the refugees were fleeing from in the first place, dickhead. Okay, I think I've said enough about that. I mean, does this warrant a video, really? Every day of every week, these people are stabbing innocent men, women and children on the streets in the UK. I don't feel this is worth any column inches at all, to be honest. We know it's happening. We know the Labour government won't do anything about it. And we've just got to guard our safety as best as possible and get on with our lives. And just hope and pray that someone you value isn't the next one to get a knife slid between the kidneys by an invader from a foreign land who shouldn't be in the UK in the first place. All right, so I think we're done there. Speaking of invaders, let's talk about David Lammy. Bear in mind, this is the same. I mean, all politicians are self-serving scum, but Lamtron said only 2 weeks ago that he definitely supports Starmer if there was a leadership contest with Burnham. Further to my last video, turns out, unfortunately, Burnham is very unlikely to call the general election. That was an old tweet that's been floating around. Well, everyone was retweeting it in order to illustrate the boundless hypocrisy of the British politician. So sadly, I don't think it is going to happen. I think it's just going to be the case that a bloke who wasn't even an MP is going to slither into Downing Street and rule over you with an iron fist, despite having zero mandate from the British public. So that's what's going to happen. But to draw a line under all this, Lamtron is like any other British MP, and he'll do anything, say anything, take any amount of money, push his own granny down the stairs. Whatever feathers his nest is all he's interested in. Regarding the leadership contest, again, that seems to just be seizing onto things he's said in the past. You know, he's tried it before, and speculation from ex-shit posters. So I've learnt my lesson there. You've got to do a lot of research if you see anything on X. But the point is, this is a foregone conclusion. Lammy is indeed a self-serving snake, and he would love to be the Prime Minister. But it's never going to happen. And this is fantastic news for anybody who happens to be black. Because if you want to be represented on the world stage by, well, this guy.
If it feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished, it's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now.
Yeah, international mastermind champion. If I was black and living in the UK, I'd be praying that this fella would get tipped out of office as fast as possible, because he's making you all look bad, isn't he? As I said, though, it's by the by. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. The Labour Party took the British public for granted, got one of their own MPs to step down, got Burnham to run in Makerfield. It's all part of the plan. They are not going to have anybody else as the leader, I guarantee it. Which is funny, because you know who else put his hat in the ring? And this was painfully obvious. the second that he resigned, trying to pretend he had some sort of integrity. Meet Action Man Al Carns, the man who could challenge Andy Burnham for the top job. The new Makerfield MP is the very clear favourite, but Al Carns, the former soldier, is said to be weighing up a challenge. Katie Rosinski looks at how this decorated ex-Marine could change the game. That's not going to happen. I would put my mortgage on it, right? There's no way. British politics is all back-scratching and corruption and favours. Al Carns is just proof that soldiers, they don't play rough enough for politicians. He could have waded headlong into an enemy trench and decapitated 8 people with a meat cleaver, and he still doesn't play rough enough for politics. These people are scum. Al Carns turned his back on veterans, showed his true colours, threw them all under the bus, and then tendered his resignation for maximum column inches because he was daft enough to think he could actually be the Prime Minister. It's never going to happen because you need real political capital to get to the top, not talent. I don't think he's a stupid bloke. I think he's a self-trimming, slippery shitbag, which is why he got involved in politics. Any man with a soul doesn't want to become a Labour MP. So there's all these people praising him because he happened to be a bootneck. Guess what? Veterans can be kiddie fiddlers too. Okay, this preposterous notion. We seem to have taken it from the Americans after they felt guilty after Vietnam and have spent the last 50 years overly being sycophantic towards soldiers. I don't like it. This whole thank you for your service bit. I don't think it's a good thing. There's a happy medium between praise and unending sycophancy. And this notion that anybody who's ever wore the uniform is a good person is completely ridiculous. And I don't understand why nobody else says it. Well, I suppose I do. Because if a normal politician starts talking like this, they'll get torn apart by the media one. The only people who've got the balls to say it are people who've fought in many wars themselves and aren't interested in being a politician. So those people are few and far between. But the myth that anybody who's ever wore a green beret is some sort of bastion of morality needs to die right now. We are just members of the general public that do a bit of training, right? Yeah, ours is harder than everybody else's, which is why 9 out of 10 drop out. And that helps separate the wheat from the chaff, but the principle's the exact same. More people drop out, but being a soldier or a sailor or an airman is no guarantee of morality or decency. It's bollocks. You join for a wage. I mean, I joined because I was desperate to murder people, so, that's not a very moral thing to do, is it? Anyway, rant over. It's not happening. Burnham's nailed on. But do you disagree? Do you think Andy Burnham is actually going to get seriously challenged by anybody else in the Labour Party when the entire reason that one of their MPs left his seat was to play this Machiavellian political game and clear the way for Andy Burnham, and probably, whoever dropped out will have been promised the world, wouldn't he? He'll have loads of slippery backdoor deals going on. That fella. Painfully obvious. So no, Lamtron's not going to be the Prime Minister. Fortunately for anybody who's black and thought Bill Cosby was embarrassing. Al Carns isn't going to be the Prime Minister because he hasn't sucked enough balls in the Houses of Parliament. He's a Johnny come lately. And again, that's a good thing because he's a self-serving rat and he proved that he'd sell his own country down the river for 20 shillings. So that's good news as well. Andy Burnham's taking the job. You can put your house on it and we'll see if I'm right or not. It can be a dangerous game making political predictions, can't it? Well, any predictions. That's why all the wankers on Match of the Day every season sit there, dickheads like Gary Lineker, and go, oh yeah, well, I'll go out on a limb and go with Man City. Whoever's the bookies' favourite is who they pick. They're a bunch of fannies as well. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me know what you think. Is it an open and shut case? Do you actually think they're going to have a serious leadership contest? Do you think Lamtron could internationally humiliate everyone on planet Earth with a bit of a tan? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.